Desperate Search for a Vanished Figure, the story of Lai Tu Tien. In a small, bustling town where time seemed to flow with the rhythm of the local market and the daily chatter of neighbors, Lai Tu Tien's life was suddenly altered by the disappearance of her father. It was as if the very heartbeat of her world had ceased, leaving behind a hollow uncertainty and an unyielding determination. This essay recounts, in narrative form, the harrowing hours and bittersweet moments as Tien embarks on a desperate search for the man who had always been her guide and protector. At the break of dawn, while most of the town's residents were beginning their daily routines, Tien's eyes were wide with a mix of hope and worry. In the early hours, she found herself approaching a vendor on a busy street. "Miss, I'm sitting here selling goods. Can I ask you a question?" she inquired softly, her voice trembling with both urgency and care. Her question was simple yet loaded. "Have you seen an elderly man of this height passing by here, wearing a blue sleeveless shirt?" The vendor, distracted by her own tasks, replied casually, "I didn't see anyone." Despite the response, Tien's quest pressed on. She suggested, "So, let's try going out the other side and see." Gratitude shone briefly in the vendor's eyes as Tien's determined footsteps led her further into the labyrinth of the town streets. The search was not confined to just one conversation. Tien spoke with several people. A sister working at a nearby stall, and a man sitting and sipping water under the fading light of the morning sun. Each person was asked the same persistent question about a man wearing a blue shirt and a hat. "Have you seen him?" she'd ask over and over. Yet, every answer maintained the haunting refrain, "I haven't seen anyone like that." At one point, a gentleman mentioned that he had seen no one resembling the description. In that moment, Tien began to wonder if the clues were slipping away as quickly as the morning mist. The weight of uncertainty grew heavier with every no she received. As hours slipped away, Tien's search inevitably stretched into a dialogue filled with hope, despair, and the subtle exchange of local gossip. While speaking with a sales lady at a corner booth, Tien recalled, "I've seen a guy this tall, wearing a hat and a short-sleeved shirt. His hair is all gray. I saw him a few days ago, but now I can't see him." The conversation, filled with memories and snippets of recognizable features, seemed to momentarily lift her spirits. It was clear that in a town so closely knit, even the brief appearance of a familiar face could spark both recollections and worries. The day wore on, and as the search continued, it gave way to a sense of mounting despair. Tien silently questioned whether her father might have gone to a friend's house or simply decided to leave without a trace. Before long, fatigue became a constant companion. In the gentle admonition of a concerned friend, she was told, "I don't think it's a good solution to keep looking like this. Maybe you should just go home now and find another way." But despite the practical advice, Tien's heart surged with a fierce maternal longing and a deep-seated need to resolve the mystery of her father's absence. "I can't find him anywhere since yesterday," she repeatedly lamented, her words echoing over the hum of the busy marketplace and across the distant fields of her childhood. The dialogue soon shifted from the frantic search to quiet, intimate moments within her family. Amid a mix of love and worry, there was Jack, a concerned friend who saw the exhaustion in Tien's eyes. "I see you're tired, too, Tien. Let's go back to the farm," he suggested gently. In the safety of her family's embrace, Tien's mind wandered back to the unanswered questions. She recalled the time when she had forgotten her bag at the market, a seemingly trivial mishap that now represented the chaos of that day. The recollections were bittersweet. Shadows of strangers, glimpsed briefly on her path, stirred a nagging fear within her. Some even bore marks on their arms reminiscent of kidnappers, a detail that deepened the ominous undertone of her father's unexplained disappearance. During a particularly forlorn moment, Tien recalled the conversation in which her father nonchalantly mentioned that he had gone out to the commune to play with some friends. Such a vague explanation could hardly account for the prolonged absence that now tormented her. Unable to reach him over the phone, a signal of deeper disarray, she was left to grapple with the unknown. Jack and other relatives repeatedly attempted contact, each call meeting the same dead end. "I can't reach you," became the refrain of the day. Eventually, in his own weariness, Jack finally advised, "Just go home and take care of your work." Yet, amid such pragmatism, the void left by her father was palpable in every pause. Parallel to the search for her father, an unlikely conversation unfolded between two old friends, Lin and another acquaintance with deep roots in the practice of Oriental medicine. Their dialogue, although seemingly detached from Tien's immediate distress, provided an interlude that added depth to the narrative. They discussed the merits and sourcing of medicinal plants, the complexities of traditional herbal medicine, and the undeniable connection between family traditions and healing. Lin explained how he had been practicing his trade for a decade, treating patients with ailments that modern medicine had failed to cure. This combination of medicine and doctor is the true meaning of healing, he explained, reflecting on folklore and the rigorous practice of his craft. The conversation meandered through details of medicinal sources, including the benefits of agarwood and other rare plants, all of which underscored the deep bond between local culture and health. The knowledge exchanged in that discussion subtly paralleled Tien's own personal struggle, a search that was as much for healing as it was for reunion. In the midst of these discussions, the day began to darken and skies turned an ominous gray. As rain poured down, nature itself seemed to mourn the absence of a family unit that was slowly unraveling. "It's raining," someone remarked, and the relentless drizzle became a metaphor for the creeping sorrow that enveloped Tien's spirit. With every drop, memories of her father's laughter, his guiding hand, and his protective gaze felt more distant. Still, even in that chilling rain, Tien's hope was not extinguished. Her resolve to find her father, no matter how exhausting the search, burned as fiercely as ever. Home, however, became both a sanctuary and a reminder of loss. In her family home, tension mingled with care as her mother busied herself with household chores, leaving little time to comfort Tien. The sporadic calls and messages from her relatives painted a picture of a family forced to maintain normalcy, even as disaster loomed in small, unanswered details. "To Tien, go rest," they would say, persuading her to put aside her search, if only for the fleeting moments of reprieve that sleep might offer. Yet, every time she closed her eyes, the image of her father, a gentle figure, now shrouded in mystery, would appear, urging her to get up and try once more. There were moments when the fear of having done something wrong for her father overwhelmed Tien. "If Dad is angry with me, he can leave," she would muse, haunted by the possibility that a personal failing might have led to this separation. But deep down, a stronger belief prevailed. The faith that her father was out there somewhere, a man of purpose whose absence was temporary rather than final. Every conversation, every inquiry made on the bustling streets, and every whispered hope in the silence of the night served as a testament to her unwavering belief in the eventual reunion. Late into the afternoon, as the relentless rain gave way to brief spells of sunlight, Tien's interactions took on a more desperate quality. Conversations with neighbors, gentle reassurances from friends, and the bleak responses of passers-by all painted an image of a community touched by both solidarity and helplessness. "I'm so sorry for Tien. If I hadn't come back at that time, Tien wouldn't have been like this," a friend once remarked, acknowledging the toll the search had taken on her both physically and emotionally. Amid such expressions of sympathy, even the mundane act of sharing a meal was transformed into a ritual of care, a silent promise that no matter what happened, she would not face her plight alone. In one of the more touching episodes, an elder carefully prepared a bowl of perilla porridge, an age-old remedy passed down by generations. "Eat until it's hot," he insisted with tender concern, his every gesture encapsulating a lifetime of familial wisdom. The act of cooking, of sharing these traditional remedies, was imbued with a deep cultural significance. It reminded Tien of the innumerable ways in which her family had overcome difficulties in the past, each remedy a testament to the resilience that was woven into the very fabric of their lives. As the day slowly gave way to night, the search took on a contemplative mood. The earlier urgency meshed with quiet reflection, the realization that sometimes, understanding the world around you requires more than frantic searches. It demands acceptance of what you cannot immediately explain. Tien sat beside a window, her face lit by the soft glow of lamplight, the last traces of sunlight mingling with her unspoken prayers. Every empty phone call, every deadline, and every unreturned query painted an intricate mosaic of loss and hope. In the concluding hours of the day, while her father remained a mystery, Tien began to find solace in the gentle reassurances of those who cared for her. Jack, whose concern never waned, promised to continue his efforts, vowing to reach out to every possible contact in a desperate bid to uncover the truth. His words, though tempered by the weariness of constant disappointment, carried a subtle promise, one that, in the depth of night, offered a glimmer of hope amidst overwhelming despair. "If anything happens, I'll call you," he told her, reiterating a commitment that proved the bonds of love and friendship were not as easily broken. In that fragile twilight, with the day's events weighing heavy on her heart, Tien's search became symbolic of all that is human, a quest for connection, for understanding, and above all, for love. Her father's absence was not simply a void but an invitation to confront the complexities of familial ties and cultural heritage. The story of Lai Tu Tien is not one of despair alone. It is also a chronicle of resilience. Every question asked on a busy street corner, every whispered inquiry, and every shared remnant of tradition brought her one step closer to understanding that even the most painful absence can lead to the discovery of inner strength and an enduring hope for tomorrow. Thus, in a quiet town where the mundane met the extraordinary, Tien's tale unfolds, a poignant narrative of searching and healing, of tradition and modern despair. Her journey is a reminder that, at the heart of every desperate search lies a deep and unyielding faith in the promise of reunion, a belief that even when the visible threads of life seem to come undone, the invisible bonds of love will always guide us home.